Hare Krishna. सत्यानंद चिंत सत्ये कपक्षे सर्वाध्यक्षे भक्ति रक्षादिदक्षे श्री गोविंदे विश्वसर्गादिकंदे पूर्णानंदे नित्यमास्तां मतिर्मे अज्ञान नीरदिरुपैति यया विशेषं भक्ति परापवजति परिपोषमुच्चैः तत्त्वं परं स्फुरति दुर्गमम् अप्यजश्रं सद्गुण्यभृत्स्वरचितं प्रणमामि गीतं गौरां सुखः सत्कुमुद प्रमोदि स्वाभिक्यया गोस्तमो निहन्त श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य सुधानिधर्मे मनोतिष्ठन् स्वरतिं करोतु प्राचीन वाचः सुविचार्य सोऽहम् अज्ञोऽपि गीतामृतलेशलिप्सुः यतः प्रभोरेव मदेत तत्र शन्तक्षमध्वं शरणागतस्य सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोक्ता गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपादमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् स्वधर्मज्ञानवैराग्यसाध्यभक्त्येव गोचरः नारायणः परब्रह्म गीताशास्त्रे समीरितः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्त प्रविश्य माशिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्तक्ल शक्तिधरस्वदाम्ना अन्यातहस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीं प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं पान्त्वस्मान् पुरुहूतवैरिबलवन् मातङ्गमाद्यद्घटा कुम्भोच्छाद्रि विपारनाति कपटु प्रत्येकवज्रायिताः श्रीमत्कण्ठेरवास्य प्रतसुनकरधारिदाराति दूरप्रध्वस्तत्वान्तशान्तप्रवतितमनसा भाविता भूरिभागैः Hare Krishna, welcome you all for this Gita Sastri course on the 16th day. Today we will be discussing on the 12th chapter, which is called Bhakti Yoga. So this chapter, even though it is very small and it is at the end of the middle portion, that is middle Madhyama Shadga. But this chapter is very important because it in this chapter Krishna ultimately gives us a sadhana to reach him. Because that is the ultimate purpose of reading this Bhagavad Gita, that attaining Lord Swadharmanyana Vairagya Sadhya Bhakti Eva Gocharaha Narayana Parabrahma Gita Shastre Samirtaha. Bhagavad Gita, it's helping us to reach that Lord Krishna. And what is the sadhana? So how to reach him? So that is the main thing. We may know that we are soul and Lord is Supreme Lord, but we should know the way to reach him. If there is no way, then we will be suffering here and Lord will be waiting for us there. So the connection should be made, the way should be clear, the path should be proclaimed very properly so that we may reach that Lord very easily. So this chapter, this 12th chapter, is establishing the path to reach him. So what is the path? Devotion service. Ultimately, devotion service is the path. But what kind of devotion service that we should do? That is the question here. Because devotion service can be done in various ways. Devotion service can be done as a Angarupa, as a Sadhana Rupa, as a Palarupa also. So what kind of devotion service that we should do, that should be determined very clearly. So that's what Krishna is determining here. That's what he's establishing in this 12th chapter called Bhakti Yoga. And that's an interesting connection given here. Why this chapter is called Bhakti Yoga? Like every chapter has a particular name according to the things content discussed in the chapter is named. Like we have first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. It deals with Arjuna's distress, so it is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. It's an analytical discussion of Atma and how to reach him and what is the quality or qualification or the characteristics of a person who has realized Atma. So it is basically dealing with Atma. So it is called Sankhya Yoga. And third chapter is Karma Yoga because it is predominantly discussing about Karma Yoga. So every chapter is discussing some predominant subject, and the subject is named after that. But this chapter is called Bhakti Yoga. Why this chapter is predominantly called Bhakti Yoga? Even though Lord Krishna is consistently talking about bhakti right from the second chapter. Second chapter we have seen Mat Paraha. In third chapter, Krishna Igyartat Karmano Nyatra. In fourth chapter, we have Janma Karma Chame Divyam. In fourth chapter, Bhoktaram Nigetapasam. In fifth chapter, sorry. In sixth chapter, we have Yoginam Api Sarvesham. So in each and every chapter, Krishna is directly or indirectly indicating the importance of bhakti or the glories of bhakti. And in 7th, 8th, 9th chapter, there is no need to even say, because in each and every chapter, Krishna is speaking the glories of bhakti and bhakta. So if that is the case, why this chapter is particularly called as Bhakti Yoga in comparison with other chapters? Because Acharyas, they give a very interesting analogy. It is said that in Ramayana, the Ramayana, whole Ramayana is very beautiful. That's why it is called Adi Kavya. Even though it is Itihasa, it is considered as Adi Kavya. Why? Because it is very beautiful. The way it is presented is beautiful. The shlokas are very beautiful. The meaning is beautiful. The comparison is beautiful. Lord is beautiful. His characters are beautiful. And his actions are beautiful. Everything is beautiful in Ramayana. Even though everything is beautiful, but if you see in Ramayana, there is a chapter called Sundarakanda. Sundarakanda means very beautiful chapter. Why that Sundarakanda is called Sundarakanda? Why not other kandas are called Sundara? Like we have Balakanda. In Balakanda, we can see Rama's appearance. We can see Rama Sita marriage. So in Balakanda, we can say that is Sundarakanda because it is speaking about Lord's qualities. It is speaking about Rama's marriage with Sita. So Sita Rama's qualities are mentioned. So it can be Sundarakanda. Ayodhya Kanda, it is predominantly discussing about Dharma. Rama is establishing Dharma to everyone. He is teaching Dharma to each and every person. Even to his mother, father, he is teaching Dharma. And no one can shake his Dharma. He is very fixed in his Dharma. So that can be called the Sundarakanda because he is establishing Dharma. That is the whole point of his appearance. So Dharma Samstha Panarattaya. So that can be called a Sundarakanda. And we have Aranyakanda. In Aranyakanda, we have many internal leelas with Sita. We can see many pastimes which are happening with between Rama and Lakshmana, Rama and Sita. So, because it is discussing about Madhurya Rasa between Sita Rama, so it can be called as Sundarakanda, but no. And in Kishkinda Kanda, we can see Rama's separation from Sita, this Vipralamba Bhava, that how he is thinking about Sita in separation and how he is crying for his beloved. So the love is more enhanced in separation. So we can see the Rama's love for Sita and Sita's love for Rama. So that is very beautiful to see. So that can be called a Sundarakanda. Or this Yuddhakanda can be Sundarakanda because at last Rama and Sita, they met each other after so much tragedy and suffering and war. That can be called a Sundarakanda. But why the portion which is dealing about Hanuman's jumping from a mountain to Lanka and having darshan of Sita and coming back and informing Rama, I have seen Sita. That's it. This portion is called a Sundarakanda. In the Sundarakanda, there is no description about Rama. There is not much description about Sita. There is only description about Hanuman. But this portion is called Sundarakanda. Why? Because from external point of view, we can say in that Sundarakanda, there are beautiful glorification or beautiful ornamental description about Rama and Sita's love that can be there, but predominantly it speaks about the devotee, that is Hanuman's qualities. Because it is speaking about Hanuman's quality, devotee's quality, it is Sundarakanda. It is very beautiful. So the qualities about the Lord, uh, they don't consider as very beautiful, but the qualities of devotees is considered more beautiful. That's why this portion, which is dealing about the devotees, is considered as more beautiful than other description. That's why it is called Sundarakanda, because it is dealing about devotees' quality. The same thing can be seen here. Lord enjoys the devotees' quality. How devotees they give credit to the Lord, and similarly the Lord gives all the credits to the devotees. So ultimately, Lord Rama, when Hanuman said that I have seen Sita, Rama has completely given himself to Hanuman. That is more beautiful. That is the beautiful thing. It's not so great to understand how Lord is great. Yes, Lord is great. That is very natural thing, because He is most powerful. He is the creator. He is the controller. He is the maintainer. He is the sustainer. He is naturally great. He is naturally beautiful. But that Lord is becoming the devotee of His devotee. So this is more beautiful. This is enhancing the Lord's quality. This is more beautiful. This is the ornamental quality of the Lord, or this is the gem quality for the Lord, bhakta vatsalyatva. So Lord can have many qualities, but among those qualities, His main quality is bhakta vatsalya. Even though He is very great, He is very pleasing, He is very loving, He is surrendered Himself to His devotee. He has given Himself fully to His devotees. He is very easily attainable to His devotees. That is the most pleasing and most beautiful quality of the Lord. That's why it is called Sundarakanda, that He has given Himself to the Lord, to the devotee. Similarly, in this chapter, the 12th chapter, Krishna will speak, Bhaktaste ativa me priyaha, yomad bhakta samaya priyaha. He will say, this devotee is very dear to me. This kind of devotee is very dear to me. This devotee is the most dearest person to me. So, in this 12th canto also, Krishna is going to reveal that this kind of devotee is very pleasing to me. I am ready to give myself to that devotee. So, because this 12th chapter is mostly discussing about devotee's quality, so that's why this chapter is called Bhakti Yoga. Like Sundarakanda, because it is speaking about devotee's quality. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, this 12th chapter, it is predominantly discussing about devotee's qualities. That's why it is called Bhakti Yoga. This is just an interesting analogy which is given by Acharya. Okay, yesterday we were discussing about Lord's Vishwarupa. So the Vishwarupa, in Vishwarupa, at the end of Vishwarupa, Lord has proclaimed that this form of mine is very difficult to naham vere tapasa na dhane na ijjaya sakya evam vido drashtaman asim mam yatha. Krishna has just said that this form of mine cannot be seen by means of Veda, by means of Vedic studies or tapas or dhana or yajna. So all these things are useless to see me. If that is the case, then why Vedas has to teach us different kinds of tapas, different kinds of dana, different kinds of yajna? Lord has said that Vedic studies cannot reach me. By tapas you cannot reach me. By dhana you cannot reach me. By yajna you cannot reach me. Only by devotion you can reach me. Then why all these things are mentioned first of all in the Vedic literature? Why we have to mention all these things? Take painstakingly taking so much portion of the Vedas to discuss all these things, and at last you say these are all useless to know me. Why Vedas has to do that? Or is it Lord's opinion that we should give up all this thing? The idea is, without bhakti, Vedic knowledge is useless. Without bhakti, tapasya is useless. Without bhakti, dhana is useless. Without bhakti, yajna is useless. But if it is done with bhakti, then your Vedic study will have fruit. If you do with bhakti, tapas, then that tapas will have fruit. If you do dana with bhakti, then that dana will have fruit. If you do yajna with bhakti, then that yajna will have fruit. Otherwise, without bhakti, if you do anything, it has no any meaning. That is the whole point. So we should understand the purpose of all those things mentioned in the Vedas. Why Vedas speaking about different kinds of dana, yajna, tapa, shastra adhyayana? Why? Because it helps us to induce bhakti in us. If there is no bhakti, then just these activities, just by doing these activities, it will not give you the results. But if you do all these activities with bhakti, then ultimately it give you the result, and also it give you the mukhya result, or that is bhakti itself. So bhakti can be seen as anga form also. These are bhakti becomes an anga. Like for devotees, bhakti becomes a mukhya sadhana. For those who are doing shastra studies, those who are doing yajna, those who are doing puja, those who are doing dana, those who are doing tapas, for them bhakti become anga. Without bhakti, if you do tapas, then the tapas will become like a Hiranyakashipu's tapas. Without bhakti, if you do yajna, then the yajna will become like Ravana's yajna. So all those things which are mentioned in the Vedas, it has purpose. What is that? Ultimately, it has to induce devotion in us. Dharmasvanishtatah pumsam visvakshena kadasoyah na utpadayat yatiratim shramayevahi kevalam. So Vedas ultimately aiming us to develop this kind of attachment toward Lord. If this attachment towards Lord doesn't arise, then all our activities, even though it is a dharmic activity, even though it may look like it is a Vedic activity, then it is useless endeavor, because ultimately it doesn't serve the purpose. That's what Krishna said, that this by means of this bhakti, what happens? A person who is just like an animal, he becomes like a human being, and because of that bhakti, he starts doing some good activities. When somebody is doing some good activities, when he adds bhakti in his activities, then his good activities will become nishkama karma yoga. With nishkama karma yoga, if he starts doing with bhakti, if he starts doing nishkama karma yoga, then that itself will give him purification of mind. With pure mind, if he starts doing bhakti, and bhakti becomes pure, then it gives Krishna. So this is just like a step-by-step process. So that's why Krishna is saying that this bhakti can be a sadhana rupa also, can be anga rupa also, can be phala rupa also. It has to be anga with all kinds of activities. And without bhakti, there is no phala, because mantra lopa, tantra lopa, kriya lopa. That whenever you do some activities, there are mantra, kriya, tantra, so many lopas, so many aparadas are there. So even if you do any activity, any Vedic activity, if there is no bhakti, then it becomes useless. But if nama sankirtanam tava, if it is along with nama sankirtana, then all our activities gives us result. So bhakti can be seen as a anga rupa also, bhakti can be seen as a phala rupa also, and bhakti can be seen as a sadhana rupa also. So sadhana rupa means it is for devotees. They do bhakti as a sadhana to reach the Lord. So others, they do bhakti to attain their goal. Others, they do bhakti to rectify their mistakes and also to do their karma very well. So bhakti can be seen in a different way. That's what this 12th chapter will discuss. How bhakti differs from person to person, and what kind of bhakti ultimately pleases the Lord, and how bhakti leads. You can do any kind of bhakti, but ultimately the bhakti slowly it will purify you. It will bring you to the Lord. That is a quality of bhakti. So that's what in this 12th chapter that we are going to discuss. So so bhakti is in our heart, like it's a love for Lord, and in Lord's heart, the bhakti is in the form of mercy. So this both bhakti comes together and it becomes pure bhakti. That's what we are going to see in this 12th chapter. So what is the Sangraha Shloka by Yamunacharya for this 12th chapter? Bhaktehe sraishtyam upayoktaha. Bhaktehe sraishtyam upayoktihi asaktasya atmanishtata tat prakarattu atipritihi bhakte dvadasa uchyate. What is said here in the 12th chapter? Bhaktehe sraishtyam, the glories of a devotee, the supremacy of the devotee. Upayoktihi asaktasya atmanishtata. If it is not possible for you to do anala devotion, then what else can be done for asakta, for incapable person to do ananya bhakti? What are the other methods to reach him? Tat prakarattu atipritihi bhaktehe. And in this way, describing these things, then Lord describes what kind of devotee is more pleasing to him. So these are the things which are discussed in the Dvadase Uchate. These are the things which are discussed in the 12th chapter. So what is said here? Meditation on Bhagavan is the only way, or in many ways, meditation on the Lord is in many ways superior to the meditation of Atma. And the superiority is in concerning the speed of fructification. And also the meditation of Lord is the speed fulfillment of the aim. If we cannot do pure devotion service, then adopt step-by-step process method. Ultimately, it leads to purification. So these are the things which are discussed in the first half of the chapter, in first 10 shlokas, and remaining shlokas from 13 to 20, it speaks about the glories of, or the qualities of the devotees. So what is said here? Krishna has discussed many things from chapter 2 till chapter 11. He has discussed many things. Now he's summarizing everything. Now he's taking the essence and is giving us the gist out of it, and is giving the conclusion from all these chapters. What is said here? In second chapter, we have started Avinashinu Tatvidhi Yena Sarvamidam Tadam Vinashinam Avasya Sasya Asena Kaschit Kartum Arhasi. Avinashi, this soul is indestructible. So when you know this soul indestructible, then by realizing the soul, you can understand to some extent in comparison the qualities of super soul. So the chapter from 2 to 6 were discussing about how the soul has to be realized first, and by realizing the soul, how Paramatma can be attained. This is what discussed from chapter number 2 to 6. And in the so this is one method of attaining the Lord, that is to understand the soul. And after understanding the soul, then you understand Paramatma. And after understanding Paramatma, you undergo meditation. In meditation, you see the super soul. This is how you attain bhakti. This is what discussed in chapter number 2 to 6. And in 7th chapter, from 7th chapter to 11th chapter, Krishna speaks about different method. That is Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yum Janmadasharya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatagyashi Tatsuno. That in that chapter, you understand Jivatma is an Amsha of that Supreme Lord. When you understand that Lord is my Amshi and I am his Amsha, I am his part and parcel, then what one does? One immediately starts doing devotion service directly. It doesn't undergo the process to realize the soul. Instead of undergoing the process to realize the soul, he directly engages in devotion service in order to please the Lord, because he has understood we are part and parcel of Lord. So if you understand this, then the next step, what I'm supposed to do. If you are a part of Lord, if you are an Amsha of Lord, then you should serve the Lord. That is the next step. That is the whole point of mukti. Mukti hitva anyata rupam swarupena vasthitihi. There are two parts in this. Mukti means mukti hitva anyata rupam, giving up your false identification. Yes, you have given up your false identification. What is your identification? Atma. Okay, what is the Atma's identification? What Atma will do? What is the dharma of Atma? Swarupayana vivastitihi, being situated in your own Swarupa, it is a Swarupa dharma. What is that Swarupa dharma? That is, we are all eternally servant of Lord. We are all meant to give pleasure to the Lord. Jivera Swarupohai Krishna Nityadas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mamaivamso Jiva Loke, Krishna also says. So this Jivatma are part and parcel of Lord. So this Jivatma are supposed to serve the Lord. Then what this devotee he does, what the person does, when he hears this about the quality of soul, then immediately he engages himself in devotion service. This is second path. So there are two paths are mentioned. Now one path is you understand the soul. By understanding the soul, you try to realize the soul. And by realizing the soul, you realize the Paramatma. And from Paramatma, you slowly come to Lord. This is one path. The second path is you understand, you hear about the soul, and immediately you start engaging in devotion service. That is 9 form of devotion service. Then you immediately start purifying yourself, and then you will attain the Lord. This is second type of method to attain the Lord. There are 2 methods, and among the second method, that is directly engaging in devotion service, there are 2 kinds of other method. That is Yoga Mishra Bhakti and also Jnana Mishra Bhakti. So Yoga Mishra Bhakti means Krishna said in 8th chapter, in 10th shloka, that Prayana Kale Manasachalena Bhaktya Yukto Balena Chaiva Bruvor Matre Pranamave Samyak Tatapadam Paramuvaiti Divyam. So he says, in the Prayana Kale, at the time of death, what happens? One, Yoga Balena Chaiva, one with Bhaktya Yukta. Along with Bhakti, he starts practicing yoga, and by means of this yoga bhala, he attains Lord. Like Bhishmacharya, there are many people, those are all examples. By means of the yoga shakti, and also along with bhakti, they attain the Lord. And also, Lord spoken about the Jnana Mishra Bhaktas. Like in chapter number 9, we have shloka from 15 onwards. Krishna spoke about Jnana Yajnana Chapyanye. So people, they worship me in Jnana Yajna also. Like they consider me Ekatvena Pratatvena. We saw all these things, that they see Lord in different forms, and they start worshipping Lord in different forms also. So in this way, they worship me also. This is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And Krishna spoke about pure devotion service also. That is Yoginam api sarvesham madgadena antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yogam samayuktatamavataha in 6th chapter 47th shloka, in the end of Dhyana Yoga. So Krishna spoke about different kinds of Bhakti Yoga in the Bhakti Prakarana itself. Now Arjuna starts with a question, because he's a good hearer. He's not like us. Okay, Krishna, you are telling something, I'm hearing something. Ultimately, you do whatever you want to do, I will do whatever I will do. No, he's listening very carefully. Even in the midst of that Kurukshetra war, yeah, Krishna is speaking so many things, not just one thing. He's speaking many things from many point of view. You can just see how Krishna spoke about Atma. From many point of view, he was just pushing Atma is eternal, Atma is eternal, Atma is eternal, body is temporary. And Karma Yoga. So from many point of view, he pushed that Karma Yoga is better, Nishkama Karma Yoga is better, and Nishkama Karma Yoga has to be done. Jnana Yoga cannot be done, and Nishkama Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga. Ultimately, the Jnana is inside the Nishkama Karma Yoga. By means of doing Nishkama Karma Yoga, you don't have to do Jnana Yoga itself. Both gives the same result. So he was, from various point of view, he was trying to convince Arjuna, yes, this is better. And also in Dhyana Yoga, he spoke about different process of Dhyana Yoga, and he came to 7th chapter. In 7th chapter, he spoke about his energies. He spoke about how his energies are everywhere, and how he is inside the energy, how he is not with the energy, how he is maintaining everything, and how many kinds of devotee. He just spoke many different subjects. And Arjuna is very intelligent. Why? Because he's devotee. And that's why Lord is in his chariot as a driver. So Arjuna could understand the essence. So now he's asking very proper question, just for us, for our clarification. Because as a sadhaka, by hearing all these things, we may be in confusion. So just to solve our confusion, Arjuna is asking question. But in reality, we are not in confusion, because we don't understand anything anyway. So Arjuna, Shastras, it speaks like this. It gives a point, it gives another point, it gives another point, it gives another point, it gives another point. Just goes on keeping. He just keep on giving you points. Then at last it gives you conclusion. Okay, this is the conclusion. Then we are safe. Otherwise, if you start making your own conclusion, then we will be in a big trouble. So Arjuna, being merciful, not only Krishna, even actual devotees are more merciful than Lord, that we will see in the end of this 18th chapter. So Arjuna, he's representing us. So he just saw us. My God, already these people are very confused. Now Krishna is confusing with so many different kinds of path. What they are going to do, poor fellows. So let me ask a question so that it will be clear what they should do. So he just summarizes everything, and he puts in a very, very intelligent way, just puts in one shloka whole chapters, from chapter number 12 to chapter number 11, all the things in one shloka. Very beautiful summary. He says, Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paripasate echa aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Just one shloka, very beautifully designed. What he says, evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paripasate echapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Ke yoga vittamaha. Who can attain you very quickly, Krishna? You have just mentioned two paths. Acharyas give us this summary, this understanding. Otherwise, it is impossible for us to understand what he is meant here, what are Krishna saying, what Arjuna is saying. We don't understand. But Acharyas give us. There are two paths mentioned. One is step-by-step process. You understand Atma, then you realize Paramatma, then slowly you come to Bhakti Yoga, then you attain me. That is one path. Second path is you hear about the soul, then immediately you understand the soul is part of Lord, then immediately you surrender to the Lord, you start practicing devotion service. By means of devotion service, you attain the Lord. This second process. So in this both process, which is the easiest method to attain you? Which is the fastest method to attain you? These are the two questions. Because easiest method cannot be fast. The fastest method cannot be easy. Some methods are very fast, but it is not very easy to perform. But some methods are very easy, but it is very slow. So Arjuna is asking, Tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So in one question, actually in one sentence, he asks two questions. What is the easiest method and what is the fastest method? It's not like us Indians, they have simple and best. We have the simple and best. We want everything to be simple, but we want best result. Simple things cannot be best, and best things cannot be attained simply. But in Bhakti, it is simply the best. Bhakti is not simple and it's not best, it is simply the best. Bhakti is the best. So Arjuna is asking very beautiful question. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvam paripasate tesham ke echapaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Krishna, I consider that you spoke about two processes. That is one thing is that by realizing the soul, we can attain the Lord, or directly by engaging devotion service, we can attain the Lord. What is the easiest method? Why? Because those who desiring to attain the Lord, constantly observing in the devotional process, it is one method which can be attained very easily. And there is another method, that is to understand Jiva Swarupa. The Jiva Swarupa is Akshara. Here the word is used Aksharam. Echa Aksharam Avyaktam. This knowledge about Jivatma is called Akshara here. Why it is Akshara here? You remember the eighth chapter, when Krishna was describing about Aksharam, what he said about Aksharam? Does anybody remember? Aksharam Brahma Param Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate. So in the eighth chapter, in the beginning, Krishna spoke Aksharam Brahma Param. That Brahman is Akshara, that is Jivatma. That Jivatma was mentioned. The Jivatma is without destruction, though it's one Akshara. Aksharam Avyaktam. Avyaktam means it cannot be perceived by means of senses, because it is Jnana Swarupa. So it cannot be perceived by our material senses. It has to be realized. And it is the realization. It is Jnana itself. So how can you realize which is already Jnana Swarupa? So that's what here he said, that to understand this Akshara by means of Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, is this method easy, or directly engaging in your devotion service is the easiest method? Because if you see external point of view, to understand Jivatma may look like easiest method, because the Jivatma is in Karma Bandha. So when this Karma Bandha becomes clear, then the obstacles are clear. When the obstacles are cleared, then we can perceive the Jivatma, then we can perceive the Jivatma, and then slowly we can see Paramatma. So this is for Sannishta Bhakta. But The problem here is the Jivatma is being very small. Very small means it is very subtle and it is impossible for us to perceive Jivatma. So, because it is formless, so it is difficult for meditation also. So, what method is easiest method? To understand Jivatma, which is formless, which is very subtle, uh, it is easiest method, or the second method is very blissful. You can see Krishna's Vigraha, you can hear about Krishna, you can chant Krishna's name, you can associate with Krishna's devotees, you can take Krishna Prasadam. And this method is easiest method to understand Lord, because ultimately if you understand Lord, then you will understand about soul, you will understand about your dharma, you will understand everything. So is this method is easy or that method easy? That's what Arjuna's question is. Then Krishna's answer, very straightforward answer. Maya Veshamano Yemam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddaya Parayopetas Teme Yukta Tamomataha. He says, according to my consideration, Arjuna, if you ask me, of course, for Krishna, he will say his method is the best method. Worshipping him, of course, you worship me, that is the best method, Arjuna. He says, Maya Veshamano Yemam. If you keep your mind on me, then Nityayukta Upasate, constantly desiring my association. Nityayukta Upasate, Shraddaya Parayopetas, with faith, with firm faith, if you worship me, that is the quick method to attain me. Krishna has given you the direct answer. And then he has to give a difference also. But if you go to the other process, why the other process is difficult, then he explains what is the difficulty in other process. That is self-realizing process. That is understanding about soul and step-by-step process. What is the difficulty in that process? He is telling. Etvakshaksharam anirdesham abhyaktam paripasate sarvatrakam acintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam sanyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hiterataha. The second person, the second method, that is realizing soul and etc. So that process also it will reach me. It says here, te prapnuvanti mameva, they will also attain me, but they have to go through this many painstaking process. What is that? Etu aksharam. They have these difficulties. What is the difficulty? Those who do Atma Upasana, they have these difficulties. What is the difficulty? First of all, they should understand Atma, but this Atma is Anirdeshyam, it is indescribable by words. Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, it is beyond the senses. Sarvatragam, it is pervading the whole body. Achintyam, it is inconceivable. Atma cannot be understood by any logical explanation. Atma can be understood only by Vedic literature, by Shrutis only. Can we see Atma? No. Where do we know that is Atma? By means of Shruti Vakya only we come to know about Atma. Kutastam, it is unchanging in its form. Achalam, it is unmoving. Unmoving, why? Because it is Jnana Swarupa. Jnana has no any moments. So Jnana is a constant thing. It doesn't move. So being a mere knowledge, Atma is called Achalam, and Dhruvam, it is fixed. It is fixed in its soul shelter of Paramatma. So these are the qualities of Atma. How many of you understood? Even when we speak about Atma's quality, it is very difficult for us to understand. But if you see Krishna's quality, his birth, his activities, it is very pleasing. It can be given a chance to understand. Otherwise, to understand about soul, it is very difficult. And also it is said, they need to subdue their senses. They need to withdraw their senses from their sense objects. They need to control their mind and looking all the things equally during the dualities. And also they has to work for the welfare of all. Sarvabhuta hiterataha. So these are the qualities which are necessary for Atma Upasakas. And then they will attain me. So keeping all these things in mind, it becomes very painstaking process for us to understand Atma and go through all this process to attain the Lord, because we need to subdue our senses, we need to see everyone equally in all the situation, and we need to work for all the welfare, and we need to understand the soul's quality because of understanding the source. Quality itself we can understand, it is impossible to understand. So by understanding this, we can come to a conclusion. This Atma Upasana is very difficult. That's what Krishna says here. Klesho adhikaratstesam abhyakta sakta chetasam abhyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavadvir abhapyate. Then Krishna expands more. Klesho adhikarastesam Arjuna, it is very difficult. It is very difficult, Arjuna. Why? Klesho adhikatarastesam abhyakta sakta chetasam. Because abhyakta sakta chetasam. It is impossible for you to meditate on abhyakta. Abhyakta means which doesn't have form. How can you do Atma Upasana? Where is Atma? How do you meditate on Atma? I am Atma, I am Atma, I am Atma, I am Atma. It is very difficult for you to meditate on Atma. So in this process, you need to undergo the sense control. So abhyakta sakta jesam, abhyakta hi gatir dukkam. So this abhyakta rupa or abhyakta meditation, it's dukkam only. It is not very easily processable. Dehavadvir abhapyate. Dehavadvir means one who has body. So we all have this body. We are all having this bodily conception of life. From time immemorial, we all think that we are this body, we are this body, we are this body. And suddenly I'm coming and telling you, don't think you are this body. Now you think you are different from the body. Yes, maybe in the class I may think I'm different from the body. As soon as class finishes, immediately I go for prasadam. I'm thinking, where is my food? Where is my prasadam? So for upanyasa, we may think I'm not this body, but in practical sense, it's very difficult for us to follow that we are not this body. So those who have this bodily concept of life, for them, this Atma Upasana, it is very painstaking. It is very difficult. But in both the process, in devotional process and also Atma Upasana, in both the process, sense control is necessary. In both the process, we need to control our senses. That is for sure. But in that process, we need to control our senses by our own endeavor. But in second process, in devotion service, the senses become automatically controlled because it is being engaged in Lord's devotion service. In Shravana Kirtana, the processes, when we engage our senses, the senses become automatically controlled. So that's why this process is considered as painstaking for Atma Upasana. And also, when you have this devotion service, direct devotion service, it is very easily. Krishna said, no, susukam kartum abhyam. You remember? This Raja Vidya Rajagokyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Abhyam. This devotion service process is Pratyaksha Dharmyam. It's directly perceivable. It is very pleasing to act. But Atma Upasana, it is very painstaking. It is impossible for us to go through this Atma Upasana and to understand him. So that is the whole meaning. But there are some commentators who discuss about Nirguna Brahma and Saguna Brahma. That here the Nirguna Brahma and Saguna Brahma, the discussion is given whether we should meditate on the Lord with guna or without guna, without qualities or with qualities. So the Lord who has no qualities is called Nirguna Brahma and he is the supreme. And the Lord with qualities, he is called Ishvara. So that is not Brahma, he is Ishvara. So he is with qualities. He comes to this world with qualities, just so that we can realize him, we can meditate on him, we can worship him. So he comes with qualities. It is limited to time, place, and circumstances. So that is called Saguna Brahma. And the Brahman, the Lord, the Supreme, who is beyond time, place, and circumstances, is called Nirguna Brahma. And he has no qualities, he has no form, he has no activities. So that is Nirguna Upasana. So here there are some commentators which speak about whether Krishna is speaking about Saguna Brahma and Nirguna Brahma Upasana, but there is no quality of, there is no question of Saguna and Nirguna, because Vedanta Sutra, it clearly speaks about only one kind of Brahman. There is no two kinds of Brahman. Gati, Samanyat, there is Sutra which speaks about Gati Samanyat, means there is only one form of Brahman is explained. There are no two kinds of Brahman like Nirguna and Saguna Brahma. So here, if you speak about Nirguna Brahma, it's a simple logic. We say Nirguna. Nirguna means without qualities. The Brahman is without qualities. How can be a Brahman without qualities? Even without quality is a quality, correct? When you say he is without any qualities, then that itself becomes a quality of a Brahman. So there is nothing like Nirguna Brahma. There is only Lord with all good qualities. He is Kalyana Guna Purtiman. He has all good qualities. That's what Vedanta Sutra also says. That's what Upanishad also says. He has all the good qualities. Ramayana starts with like this: Kalyana Vida Guna Shriman. Lord has all good qualities, and He doesn't have any bad qualities. So whatever qualities Lord has, it is all good, and whatever comes from Lord, it is all good only. So there is nothing like Nirguna or Saguna Upasana. It is speaking directly about Lord and also Jiva, that is Atma Upasana only. That is what established here in the shloka. And after speaking, after knowing and Jiva and Paramatma, then what one does, the other person, he engages in my devotion service. And how he engages in my devotion service, that's what Krishna speaks in 6th and 7th shloka. Etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyeneva yogena mam dhyayantu upasate tesham aham samudritta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirah partha mayyaveshita chetasam. Krishna spoke about, first he gave a direct answer that engaging in my direct devotion service is supreme. And those who do Atma Upasana, they have to go through so many difficult processes. It is impossible for the bodily concept, the person who has body. So it is for them, it is impossible for them to go through this process. It can be possible, but it is not for everyone. It is not common process. And then after saying that, so he is now coming back to the devotees, those who know that the Jivatma and Paramatma, and they engage, they perform exclusively bhakti to me, and they don't strive for realizing Atma. So what they do, etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. They completely surrender to me, give up all the activities in order to attain me, then they will meditate on me. Ananyaneva yogena, with the devotion, with what they worship me with Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti means without any desire for any other material aspirations. They worship me completely. So to that kind of that kind of devotee, I become the self-deliverer of them from the samsara. Tesham aham samudratta mrityu samsara sagara bhavami nachirah partha mayyaveshita chetasam. See, Krishna gives additional support for his devotees. If you are Atma Upasaka, then suffering, impossible. My devotees is the best. And if you do this, I give you this offer also. What is that offer? I come personally, directly, and I take you. Okay, then devotees, whether they will be bereft of all the dharma, artha, kama, moksha, whether it is impossible for them to run their material life. No, it is possible, because the Lord says in different Purana, I think in the this from Garuda Purana, I guess, or Padma Purana. It is said here, Yavai sadhana sampattehe purushartha chatushtaye taya vinatat apnoti naranarayana ashrayaha. It is said here, Yavai sadhana sampattihi, one who does his devotion service properly, then what happens? Purushartha chatushtaya taya vinatat apnoti. They will attain all the results of purushartha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They will attain everything. Those who are doing exclusive devotion to Lord, what happens? Then Lord, he personally carries all the yogakshema. We have seen this shloka, yogakshemam vahamiham. What is that shloka? Ananya sintayantomam ejana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyukkanam yogakshemam vahamiham. Krishna says, Ananya sintayantomam. If you are completely engaged in me, if you are 24 hours, if you are in my thinking, if you are in my devotion service, Ananya Chintayantomam Ejana Pariyupasate. Their only goal is me. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam. They're always hankering for my devotees connection. Tesham Ke Yoga Vittam. For them, Yogakshemam Bahamyaham. I take care of their Yogakshema. Yoga means whatever they need, I give them, and Kshema means whatever they have, I protect them. So these both things I take care. Personally, I take care of them. So that's what Krishna assured in that shloka. The same thing is said here in this Varaha Purana also. Every sadhana sampattihi purushartha chatushtaye taya vinatada apnoti naranarayana ashrayaha. Who has taken shelter of Narayana, Lord, then by doing his sadhana bhakti itself, he will attain all the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Sarva dharma ujjita vishnor namamatra eka jalpakaha sukena yam gatim yanti natam sarvapi dharmakaha. But if somebody does all his dharma properly without devotion, he doesn't attain anything. But sarva dharma ujjita vishnor namamatra eka jalpakaha. But if somebody chants Lord's name, if somebody is just chanting Lord's name, then he will attain all the benefits of following dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But if somebody is doing all kinds of dharma without chanting Lord's name, he will not gain anything. So this is what Lord assures. Just by chanting Lord's name, you will get all kinds of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But if you do all kinds of dharma without chanting Lord's name, then you don't get anything. Then what happens? In the end of life, Krishna says, Nayami paramam sthanam marchirardi gatim vina garuda skandam aropya yatecham anivaritaha. In Garuda Purana, it is said that for a devotee, I personally carry them to Vaikuntha Loka. It is said that jnana and moksha. Upanishad says jnana and moksha. Only by jnana you get moksha. Jnana means to understand about soul, to understand about Lord and our relationship, and also to develop detachment from this world. That is called real jnana and vairagya. So without jnana and vairagya, the moksha is impossible. So how this devotee, just by doing devotion service, he will get jnana and vairagya. Then Krishna says, don't worry. Tesham aham samurdhatta mrityu samsara sagarat. Then Krishna says that I personally come and carry. How? By means of giving knowledge. Like a father, a girl who is very poor and she is waiting for marriage. But father knows at the end of his marriage day, somehow or other, he will bring some ornaments from here and there. He will manage something, put some ornament and he will give for marriage. Similarly, we should have complete faith on Lord. Just do your devotion service. At the end of life, Lord will somehow or other give us jnana and vairagya, and he will take us from this world. So you don't worry about jnana and vairagya too much. Just do your devotion service and Lord will make you a proper person to get this jnana and vairagya. Because when you do bhakti, then jnana vairagya automatically follows. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayatahitukam. Bhagavatam says, Vasudeva Bhagavati, one who does bhakti to Bhagavan, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati, then it develops. What develops? Ashu, very quickly, Jnanam Vairagyam Chahitukam. Then immediately you have Jnana and Vairagya. What is Jnana and Vairagya? Jnana means Vasudeva Sarvamiti. To understand everything is Lord's expansion, or everything is Lord's energy, that is Jnana. To see Lord in everything, each and every moment, that is Jnana. And what is Vairagya? Using everything in Lord's service. When you understand everything belongs to Lord, then what do? You engage everything in Lord's service. That is called Vairagya. So this is very natural quality of a devotee. So when you are a devotee, then automatically you develop jnana and vairagya. By means of this jnana and vairagya, Krishna comes personally and he delivers you from this world. So Krishna assures that for a devotee, I come personally, I take care of him personally, I deliver him from this world. So this is the opinion of Sridhar Swami, that everything, whatever we do in this world, even while doing devotion service, we should always think, it is not my endeavor, it is not my capacity that I am doing this. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tamara karuna sara. Guru de kripa bindu diya. When you are doing devotion service, we should not think this is my capability. I'm able to chant. My capability, I'm able to read Shastra. I'm able to understand Shastra. I'm able to do devotion service. No, it is not my capacity. Yogyata vichare. When you understand your yogyata, kichu nahi pai. There is no yogyata. There is not even little yogyata for us. Tomara Karuna Sara, everything is just your mercy. Prabhupada once was asked by his disciples, Prabhupada, you said that to do this devotional service, we need to have so much punya karma, that one who has completely given up his papa karma and developed all kinds of punya karma, only they will do Dida Bhakti. What is that shloka in 7th chapter? Anybody remembers? That there is a shloka which speaks about you should give up all your papa karma and develop punya karma, then you will do Dida Bhakti. What's that shloka? Anybody knows? Hare Krishna, is everyone here? Yes, Arunesh, What is that shloka? Antagatam papam. What's that shloka? Tesham twantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvantamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dadavrataha. So in that shloka, he said that giving up all your sinful activities and developing punya karma, you will do dadavrataha, you will do worship, you will have proper determined worship. So these devotees, they were asking, Prabhupada, what kind of punya karma that we have done to worship you? Prabhupada said, you did not do any punya karma. I have deposited punya karma in your bank account. You are all nil account, zero account balance. So I put some balance in your bank account and I made you rich so that you can be able to chant. That's what you should always think. Tomara karuna sara. Only your mercy I am able to do this. So that's what we should always think. Like when you're doing karma yoga, we should always think, this is not my ability that I'm doing, it's Lord's ability that I'm doing this karma. Similarly, in bhakti also, you should never think this is my ability that I'm doing this bhakti. No. Whenever you do some bhakti, you should immediately think this is Lord's mercy that I'm able to do this. So when you have this understanding, then Lord become Mrityu Samsara Sagara, Bhavami Nachirah Partha. Then Lord becomes your personal carrier to get out of you this samsara. This shloka is our only hope. Otherwise, what is our hope? When you understand this shloka, that Lord is our protector, only He can deliver us from this world. So how to do that? How he will do that? And we should develop those qualities which are mentioned in the 6th shloka. And the main thing is that we should always think this is Lord's mercy, and I'm able to engage in this devotion service. When you have this mood, then by chanting His name, there is nothing mentioned in this. All this shloka speaks about Nama Sankirtanam. When you just chant Lord's name, that's more than enough. You will get both material fruits also, and definitely you are getting spiritual benefits also. When your spiritual life is good, then material life automatically follows. Like a person is walking, the shadow follows that person. So spiritual life is like a real life, and material life is just like a shadow. So when you are walking, then automatically the shadow follows you. Similarly, when you are good in spiritual life, the material life automatically follows you. You don't have to do much endeavor for your material life. So Mayyeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasi mayyeva ada urdham na sanchayaha. Now, Krishna is speaking about his pure devotion service. What is pure devotion service? Means completely concentrating your mind on the Lord. Mayyeva mana adatsva. Your mind should always think about me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya. Your intelligence should always think about me also. So this mind and intelligence should be always in me. Nivashishyasi mayyeva ada urdham na sankshayaha. So without doubt, if you engage your mind and intelligence in me, then definitely you will attain me. That's what he says. So ultimately, the manolaya, that is very important, because this mind has the nature of spreading. Mind is always running here and there. So what we should do, we should get that mind and put it in a proper place. You cannot control the mind. What you have to do, this mind, it's nature of the mind. It always spreads somewhere. So keep the mind in proper place so that it will spread in a proper place. It's like a jasmine lata. So this jasmine, so if you see this plant, it will be creeper, it will be going here and there. But if you put on a proper place, it will spread around the proper place and it looks beautiful. Similarly, the mind, it has this nature of climbing here and there, going here and there. So for the mind, give beautiful thing. What can be beautiful thing than Lord? So if you keep Lord, if you start giving to your mind about Lord's name, form, qualities, pastimes, then the mind will automatically move around this thing, this beautiful thing. So that's how he can be concentrated. So mayyeva mana adatsva, that is concentrating that Lord is my ultimate goal. This manolaya, it's called upasana. What is upasana? We say upasana. What is upasana? Upasana means sitting near. Upasana, bringing ourselves closer to the Lord. That is upasana. So this mind has to be engaged in Lord's dhyana. Dhyanam, this Lord's concentration, it's very important. That's why in each and every prayer, we can see from Kunti Maharani prayer, from Bhishma Deva prayer, from Prahalada, Dhruva, Gajendra, everybody's prayer is my mind should always meditate on you. Always my mind should be towards you. So you can take any prayers at the end of the prayer, the devotee will end like this: my mind should be always be on you. It should be always thinking about you. So this engaging your mind, it's called dhyana. So that's why in any process we have dhyana. Even when you chant Vishnu Sahasranama, we have first dhyanam. First of all, we say dhyanam and then we chant. And also in each and every puja paddhati also, when you do puja, first of all we have dhyana. We meditate and then we start doing different kinds of upachara. While doing upachara, what we do? When you do argyam samarpayami, then immediately you chant that pranam mantra, that bija mantra, and then you offer. And then padyam, then you chant the bija mantra and you offer. So why this bija mantra is given in each and every place? So that your dhyana will be on that Lord. The Nama Sankirtana will happen and your mind will be on that Lord. The dhyana will be on that process. Otherwise, it becomes a ritual when you don't chant. So that's why this dhyana, the concentrating your mind, the Lord is important. So doing everything for Him. So thinking that doing everything for Him, or it's engaging your mind. And my buddhi niveshaya. My buddhi nivesha means engaging your intelligence. How do you engage your intelligence? Thinking that He is my protector. He is my only protector and completely depending on Him. It is how you engage your intelligence. So engaging your mind means even your sankalpa vikalpa can be engaged in Lord's service. Sankalpa vikalpa means accepting and rejecting. Accepting, we can use everything for Lord's service. And rejecting, vikalpa means something like even anger can be used on the Lord. Because for a devotee, everything is Lord. For him, Lord is the main object. For him, he doesn't know anything else. So he keeps Lord for everything. For his in his happiness, in his anger, in his satisfaction, in his dissatisfaction, he always fights with the Lord. He is happy with the Lord. He is always with the Lord. When he is unhappy, when he is sick, and immediately he will blame Lord. Oh my dear Lord, why are you doing this? I'm here to do your devotion service, and why did you give me fever? If I have fever, how I will come to your Nama Sankirtan? How I will come to hear your lecture? How I can do my devotion service? So in this way, in his mind, he is always engaged in connection with the Lord. That's why gopis, even when they have their happiness or displeasure or anger, they will show only towards Lord. Other people are useless for them. They will not consider anybody else. For them, Lord is the only goal, and they will show all kinds of bhava, all kinds of expressions, all kinds of feelings are only for my Lord. My anger, my happiness, my dissatisfaction, my madness, my love, my affection, my everything is for Lord. So this is how the devotees engage their mind and intelligence in devotion service. Okay. Now the question is how to love someone, because love cannot be induced. You cannot push someone. You should love. You should love. It is not possible. Krishna says here, you should engage your mind, you should engage your intelligence on me. But love cannot be made. It has to arise naturally. It has to be an automatic process, and it is a step-by-step process. It's a gradual process. There is not like there is nothing like first sight love. It is not possible. It is just lust, first sight lust. You don't develop love by seeing ugly old women. It doesn't happen. When you see a old ugly woman, you don't develop first sight love. When you see a beautiful person, then you develop first sight love. So it is not love, it is actually lust. Even though when you want to develop some love, then it doesn't happen immediately. And slowly what we have to do, we have to hear about that person, we have to work for that person, we have to adjust so many things with that person. When there is a fight, when there is a problem, same with old men. Yes. Okay, here men means women also, women means men also. Don't bring here now gender equality. So here we are speaking about general things. Sorry for the interruption, Ranga. So yeah, why this love doesn't develop? Because it has selfish motivation. When you have this selfish motivation, the love doesn't develop. So even to develop love, we should have we should understand each other. We should understand the glories of that person, and we should able to tolerate the pains and pleasure, the ups and downs, everything we should tolerate, and we should present something, and we should do some service for that person. Then slowly love start developing. Similarly, when Krishna has said that we should develop love, and how this love will develop immediately, it's not possible. It's a slow process. So now Krishna goes back. First of all, he said, devotion service is highest, worshipping me is the highest, loving me is the highest. Yes, let's go. But it is not possible immediately. Why? Because it takes time. I cannot say, okay, get hell with all my family, hell with all my things, and I'm going to love Krishna alone. How many days you can do that? It's not possible immediately. One day, after hearing the glories of holy name, I came to home. I said, from today, I will chant 64 rounds every day. My mother said, don't do this, just come and sleep. I said, no, I'm going to chant. You're all lazy fellows, you're all sleeping. I will not sleep. I will not waste my human form of life. I will chant. So I sat in the puja room whole night. I switched on light, was chanting, I was drowsing, I was sleeping, I was roaming here and there, washing my face. But I was determined to chant, I should chant, I should chant. I finished somehow or other. I finished maybe 3-4 o'clock. I did something and I chanted more like 108 rounds. I did chanting. And then next day, morning, I could not wake up. Then I full sleep. Whole day I was sleeping. Then evening, I woke up. I chanted 108 rounds. And I don't know, it is yesterday round or today's round, but it's combined. It's 108. So it is applicable for yesterday, today. It may be given for next day also. So I have chanted. So I went to temple. I saw all the devotees. So I went to a senior devotee, Divya Prabandha Prabhu. He said, Prabhuji, hey, what? They call me as Eka. So we are three brothers. So they call us Eka, Dvita, Trita. So they have kept name 1, 2, 3, Eka, Dvita, Trita. So these are three rishis in Mahabharata time. So they call us Eka, Dvita, Trita. What is Eka? What is matter? Then I said, Prabhuji, I have chanted yesterday 108 rounds. I was expecting that he will prize me something, he will appreciate. Oh, did you see Krishna? Then there's no answer. Oh, I did not see Krishna. Then what's the use? Then you just chanted something mechanically. Something. I don't know whether I chanted or not, but we did something. Nowadays I can see people chanting just series of rounds, just goes after. I don't know how they are able to concentrate for 32 rounds, 64 rounds, 120 rounds, 200 rounds, 300 rounds. I don't know, even Haridas Thakur finds very difficult to chant that many rounds. But what is devotees chant? Just go on chanting. So love cannot be developed like that. Love has to be gradual process. Slowly it has to come. Then Krishna, he goes down. He comes to our level because ultimately Krishna can speak about his opinion, but he knows our level also. So he has to come down to our level and slowly bring us. If you just keep on speaking about the standards, then Uddharana is not possible. But here, more than doing things, the Uddharana is important. Means the saving the person is important. So that's why in Kali Yuga, everything is broken. You don't have to do anything, just Nama Sankirtana, because other processes are very difficult. And here, the Shastra is not making us very difficult process, so that already people are disinterested to do anything spiritual. So if you give some difficult process, they will just run away. So that's why Shastra has given up all the other activities, even though it is Shastri, he has given up everything. Kalau Nama Sankirtanam, just do Nama Sankirtana and it will bring you up. In Kali Yuga, this Uddharana is important. So Lord understands this. So Lord gives a step-by-step process. Next, he gives different steps. Mayi eva mana adatsva, mayi buddhi niveshaya, nivashishyasi mayi eva ata urdham asamshaya. He just spoke about the pure devotional service. If you do like this, then you will be always in me. Then you can reach me very quickly. But the question is, we are not able to do that. This loving devotion service doesn't arise in us immediately. We are not able to concentrate on Krishna immediately. We are not able to concentrate our mind or engage our intelligence in Krishna 24 hours immediately, fully. Then what happens? Then Krishna speaks about next process. Atachittam samadhatum nasaknoshi mayistiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichaptum dhananjaya. He says, Dhananjaya, if you have this icha to attain me, but you are not able to concentrate your mind completely on me, what you do? Then you do abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga means sadhana bhakti. Then you practice, try to practice. Try to practice by chanting about my name. Try to practice to hear about me. So anyway, when you do this, then what happens? Slowly, your mind will get withdraw from unwanted sense objects and it will get fixed on me. So ultimately, this fixing your mind on me is very important. This manolaya is important. So what happens? Instead of sitting in a empty place and trying to meditate on me, which is impossible, then what you do? You engage in different sadhana bhakti. That's what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Very beautiful program he has given us. From morning till night, he has given us various process. So by this sadhana bhakti process, what we do? It's a practice. It's a regular practice. So every day we wake up for Lord, we take bath for Lord, we chant Lord's name, we see the Lord, we hear about the Lord, we cook for Lord, we eat Lord's prasadam, we do service for Lord. So in this way, we practice every day. So it's called the fixation method. So by means of this sadhana bhakti, what happens? Our mind get purified, and with this purified mind, they are able to concentrate on Lord very much. So this sadhana bhakti, this abhyasa process is given. That is the next method. Then Krishna goes on next thing. Abhyasepi asamartosi mat karma paramo bhava madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsasi. But there are some people who finds difficult to perform even this abhyasa yoga. Even the sadhana bhakti is very difficult for them. They don't find time to do the sadhana bhakti. They are very busy. Oh, no busy, Prabhu. We are very busy, Prabhuji. We don't have time. We have to run here and there. Then Krishna says that you do mat karma paramo bhava. You do mat karma. You do my work. If you cannot do sadhana bhakti directly, then you perform work for me. So here you can see the step-by-step process. The first option is pure devotion service, engaging in Shravana, Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, Ityadi, now with the bhakti completely without any other motivation, without any other goal, complete concentrated mind, you do this 9 process of bhakti. It is naturally being done. It is first method. Second method is you cannot concentrate your mind intelligence on this 9 process, so you do abhyasa, you do practice, that is sadhana bhakti. That is second method. Then full concentration will happen. Then the third method is you engage in physical service to the Lord. So that is the third method. And the fourth method is obviously Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is what Krishna is going to speak in next shloka. So that's why even in explaining about pure devotion service, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayati Tadaham Bhakti Pahartam Ashnami Priyadatmanaha. Krishna has just said that you offer me this and this and this and that. Then Krishna thought, okay, maybe this fellow will find difficulty. This person will find difficulty to get all this thing. He may think, okay, it is difficult for me to get all this thing. So Lord says, anyway, you have to do something. Anyway, you have to eat something. If you cannot get some flowers for me, if you cannot get some water for me, if you cannot get fruits for me, anyway, whatever you are going to eat, you offer it to me. Whatever you are going to do, you do it for me. So he comes down. In the next shloka itself, he has just changed. You don't have to do anything specifically for me. Whatever you are doing, you just try to offer it to me. So Krishna immediately he shifted from one phase to another phase. That's why it said here, mat karma paramo bhava. Mat karma means doing physical activities, doing physical survey means engaging in contributing, like building temples, maintaining a garden, maintaining a goshala. So like this, engaging our senses, our money, our influence, different kinds in Lord service. That is called mat karma paramo bhava. This third stage. And the fourth stage, Krishna is speaking in 11th shloka. That is Ataidat tapi asaktosi kartum madhyogam ashritaha sarma karma palatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. He says, Ataidat tapi asaktosi. Even if you think that is very difficult for you to do anything for the Lord, ataitatapi kartum madhyogam ashritah, then you do madhyoga. You do my work. Madhyogam ashritah, you do my work. What is that work? Nishkama karma yoga. Krishna is Nishkama karma yogi. Krishna cannot be a bhakti yogi because to whom he will do bhakti. Krishna cannot be a jnana yogi because if he becomes jnana yogi, then he will not do this creation, maintenance, destruction. He will just leave away everything and he will go and we will be in trouble. So Krishna has to be Nishkama karma yogi. Like Krishna has already said that in the 3rd chapter, I guess he said, what is shloka? Yeme matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto anusuyanta muchyante teve karmabihi. That yeme matamidam nityam, this is my mata, this is my path. What is it? To do everything but without expecting the result, without getting attached to the result, without being attached that I am the doer. Krishna is saying, I am not the doer. You are all the doer. I am just an instrument in creating this world. Ultimately, I am doing this for you. So this is how Krishna is doing his creation, maintenance, and destruction. That's what Krishna says here also. Madhyogam ashritah. You take my job. What's that job? Sarva karma palatyagam tata kuru yadatmavan. Sarva karma palatyagam. Palatyagam means here again sangam tektva dhananjaya. Krishna was painstakingly was speaking all this thing in Nishkam Karma Yoga from 3rd chapter also. So karma neve, what is it? Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbor ma te sangostu karmani. Doing this Nishkama Karma Yoga is the last method. Why you are not able to do this 3rd method? Because of obstacles. What kinds of obstacles? Because family is opposing. Family is not allowing me to do this devotion service directly. They are not allowing me to go to temple. They are not allowing me to chant. They are not allowing me to give some charity to the temple. And they are not allowing me to do anything. So what can I do? I will do my, I will perform a karma, thinking this in mind that yes, this is given to me by Lord, so I am doing this karma, and ultimately I am trying to give up my results in some way to the Lord. So in this way, if you do your karma, your Nishkama Karma Yoga, then slowly what happens? Then you will have this purification of mind, and somehow or other the Lord will make some arrangement that you will get Lord's association, and in that way you will become a devotee of the Lord. That's what he said. Shreyohi jnana abhyasat jnana dhyana vishishyate dhyanat karma pala tyagas chantiranantaram. He says that here he praises about karma yoga because it is easy to perform and it is done with full attention, contains the seed of knowledge. So this karma yoga is considered as better. Why? Because if you do karma yoga, what will happen? Tyagat shanti anantaram. By means of this Nishkama Karma Yoga, you have a peace of mind. When you have this Nishkama, we have seen this in 2nd chapter itself. That when you do this Nishkama Karma Yoga, you attain shanti. And I don't remember the shloka. Maybe you can, if you know, you can tell me. In 2nd or 3rd chapter, Krishna speaks about this. When you do this Nishkama Karma Yoga, then you become peaceful, then you become shanti. When you have peaceful of mind, then you can meditate. When you can meditate, then you can realize Atma. When you realize Atma, then you have knowledge of Paramatma. When you have Paramatma knowledge, then you attain pure devotional service. So in this way, the process again turned back. So now the easiest process and the quickest process, both are explained. The easiest process is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Why? Because of so many responsibilities, so many obstacles, you are not able to do anything else. So you perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is very easy. But the easiest process is to engage yourself in complete devotional service. So it is the quickest method, but how many of us can do? How many of us can leave away everything and just go and do complete devotional service? It's not possible. So we can choose some other process, maybe 2nd process or 3rd process we can choose. And we can go slowly, because Nishkama Karma Yoga also it is very difficult in this Kali Yuga, because we don't know what is our karma. First of all, Nishkama Karma Yoga means doing your varnashrama dharma. We don't know what is our varna, what is our ashrama, what is our dharma. We don't know anything. So we are doing some kind of karma, and even in that karma there is so much adharma is involved. So it's difficult for us to perform. So that's why Acharyas, they have chosen very beautiful process called sadhana bhakti. The sadhana bhakti, by the sadhana, either you do the sadhana bhakti or you become favorable to Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada has chosen these two beautiful processes. He has given us these three processes. He has left out this Nishkama Karma Yoga because ultimately by this Nishkama Karma Yoga, we should realize the Atma and slow. This is slow process. Then he took up this three process. That is, either you become favorable to Krishna consciousness, or you engage yourself in sadhana bhakti and you become pure devotee. So this is the process. This is the gradual way given by Srila Prabhupada in this Krishna conscious moment. And I will end here because it's already 7:30, and we'll continue this chapter tomorrow from 13 shloka number 13 to 20. And also we'll go through the 13th chapter, that is, 13th chapter will go. That is also a little philosophical. So we'll go through that chapter also tomorrow. I'll end here. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask now. Okay, that's a question here.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that we should engage our mind in a spiritual path, so that our mind will do only those kind of activities. But my problem here is, although earlier, 1.5 years back, I used to be too much involved in the material things, thinking to do so many things, and I used to get confused. Oh, I did not do this one, I did not do that one. Where should I go? Which path is perfect? Should I start my business, or should I continue doing my job? So many things. I used to get frustrated. Now, since I heard Gita 1.5 years back, now I'm fully changed, and I am fully into the spiritual path, always thinking my mind is fully involved in this only. But the problem is, I don't know the start and the end. I'm just like, I'm doing anything, watching any kind of video, this Prabhuji, that Prabhuji, today Gita, tomorrow Bhagavatam, someday some other book. I have Bhagavatam installed in my house, Prabhupada book, so many books, Gita. So many things I'm doing, and again I'm kind of thinking that I'm not going in a systematic order, and maybe it is wrong or right. I don't know. Could you please guide me?
Once if you are in a train, then it doesn't matter which compartment, which seat you are sitting. Anyway, the train is going towards your destination. So everywhere is blissful. Whether you bite the sugar can in the beginning or in the end, in the middle, it's all sweet. Similarly, devotional service, everything is sweet. So whatever process you follow, it is sweet. But for our mind, it is good for us to focus on something. If you keep on roaming here and there, then vipasatmika buddhir samanana vidhiyate, then we become too much attached, that we want to know this, we want to know that, we want to do this, we want to do that. In spiritual life also, we become like a restless person. Want to achieve this, we want to achieve that. No, spiritual life means the first qualification is that Adav Guru Ashrayam. You surrender to one person, you take one person's guidance, and from his one person, you can practice many things, you can attain many things. That it is not that you should take one guru. Guru can be many, like we have Avaduta Brahmana. He took many gurus, he took example from many gurus. But we should have one guru. If you don't have one guru, then what happens? One guru will say one thing and you don't like, then you go to another guru and he will give you relaxation. Okay, this guru is good. Then he will not say something, then you will go to another guru. No, we should accept one Siksha Guru. We'll take guidance from him, and under his guidance, he may direct us. Okay, you can do this, you can hear this, you can read this, you can practice this. Under his guidance, we may practice many things. So ultimately, our Siksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. If we are under Srila Prabhupada's Siksha, then there is no problem. There is no confusion, and might need some engagement, right? So it cannot be ideal. So we need to do something. In material life, people are busy. doing so many different kinds of activities. The so-called big businessman, he's not simply sitting, he is doing more business. He's not, he never complains. You see, already I'm having business, but I'm already engaging in too many business. They don't complain. But in spiritual life, we complain, okay, I'm doing so much. We are not actually doing so much devotion, but we may think like that we are doing so much devotion, but we should do more and more devotion, but under proper guidance. It will be good that if you do something under proper guidance, that is good. And I don't know, in Kali Yuga, this time, this Corona time, it's like Yanisha Sarvabhutana. For outside people, it's like a hell, but for devotees, it's like really, it's like a boon for everyone, because even if you want to run away to work, still you cannot run away because everything is closed. So it's like a Lord's arrangement. Even if you want to run away, you are concealing. So you are pushed. Sometimes you don't have anything to do. Okay, let us listen this online class, some Zoom class. Like this, so many devotees they came. Okay, these people are all the time saying, okay, here, come and hear Bhagavad Gita, come and hear Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. They have summarized 18 Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. It's impossible to summarize whole Bhagavad Gita in 18 chapters in 18 days. But somehow we are speaking, and there are people who take inclination, who comes, and slowly they get some taste and they start to hear more and more, they learn and they become devotees. So yes, this is devotion service, and this is what we are meant to do. Machitta Makkada Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam, to hear, to again and again discuss. That's what we want to do, but under proper guidance. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. I have a follow-up question on the Prabhuji's. Yeah, I have the same issue, and also temptations. Lots of temptations, and it's hard sometimes. Like, because you can resist, but then you always stand isolated in the group, you stand isolated in the family. So that also makes it difficult if they are not part of the Bhakta Sangha or the understanding. So what do you do then, Haribol?
No, I didn't get your question. What is it? What kind of temptation?
Any kind of temptation, whether it's amongst people, when they give you ideas, okay, let's do this business, or have you seen her, have you seen this person, or why don't you start a business, or you should try a little bit of egg in the cake, it's not a problem, all sorts of things. Because we live in a karmi life, the association is not necessarily all devotees, whether it's family or friends, which you have already built up over the last 20 years. So it's a bit hard, just to change from today to tomorrow. I've been following nearly a decade, but I'm still there where I was. But I'm trying, Haribol. So I'm just asking, because there are people who are doing certain things, but we also get temptations by other people or by other influences, and then it's hard because you then have to, be first discipline yourself, but then also you have to tell these people who you love or you like to engage in a nice way to say, this might be your life, but I can't do this, without losing them.
So how do you develop this distaste in these temptations? Only by satsanga. When you have this strong devotee sangha who are strict in their values, who are strict in following sadhana, who are strict in devotion service, by seeing them, we develop this attraction towards Lord. Ultimately, bhakti or shastra or Lord, we can develop some faith just by seeing devotees only. If we cannot have proper devotees association, then even though we may be hearing, we may be understanding, we may be reading so many things, but it really becomes very hard. Everything is just a theoretical. Like, I also have the same problem. Now we have these lockdowns, and because of this, we don't have direct devotees association, we don't have pure devotees service. So what happens then? Everything becomes like mechanical, everything becomes like theoretical knowledge, but practically it is impossible for us to apply. So what we can do, we can pray to the Lord to get this pure devotees association. If we have this pure devotees association, then immediately they can clear our ignorance just by their presence. How it is happening? that we don't know. It is spiritual. Spiritual things, it cannot be ascertained by our material measurement, but it happens. It happened many times with Srila Prabhupada's disciple. That these disciples, they were most confused people in the world. They were drunkards, they were drug addictors, they were everything. But as soon as they saw Prabhupada, even they did not do anything, just by seeing Prabhupada, just by serving Prabhupada, just by hearing from Srila Prabhupada, their temptations, their confusions, their path become very clear. So that is the only hope, that devotional service and devotees association and serving them, getting pure devotees association, that is the only method. But for this kind of time, what we can do, we have to anyway, devotees association now it is available all over the place. So it is not like a black and white answer. We have to do this. It depends on person to person. So it happens only by personal counseling. When you open your heart, what is the problem, what is happening exactly, then devotees can guide you personally. Otherwise, general idea is devotional service and devotees association, but it depends person to person how to manage your family, how to bring everything in a proper, how to put everything in a proper priority. So that also has to be seen according to the person and place and time and circumstances. Hope that answers your question. Thank you. Ravinder Mohan Sharma.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I agree with what the previous Prabhu had talked about regarding the temptations and all that, and also I understand the pull of Maya is very strong, and we need to try to unshackle ourselves from that and seek association with stronger devotees or devotees who are more pure-minded. I have two questions, Prabhuji. First one is regarding the spiritual planets, the existence of the spiritual planets and the inhabitants of the spiritual planets. I've been told that it is possible for the inhabitants of the spiritual planets to fall down to the material world. And I was told that it had happened in a story or something. I cannot remember, but I was told it can happen. Is that true? That's the first question. Second question, apparently there are some astrologers who are able to determine your previous life and your future life, including whether you will go to the spiritual world. Is that also true?
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. The first question, whether the Nitya Suris or those who are Lord's associate, whether they can fall down or not. So Lord assures, Yadgatva nivartante tadhama paramam mama. If you come back, if you come to me, then there is no question of coming back. Like we have Jaya Vijaya example. That is very peculiar example because by Lord's allowance, by Lord's permission, they have come down. But when we are reading this Bhagavatam, in this Bhagavata Pravaha, we have seen that this Jaya Vijaya, those who came down, they're not actual Jaya Vijaya. They were expansions of Jaya Vijaya. Because when Bali Maharaj was going through the spiritual world, then there is a Jaya Vijaya mentioned in that chapter. So Jaya Vijaya were there in the spiritual world, and at the same time they were in this material world. They were appearing in 3 janmas, and they were giving good fight for the Lord, and they went back to spiritual world. So in both the cases, the soul doesn't fall down from the spiritual world. If it comes down, then it's because of Lord's arrangement, and they don't actually fall down, then in expansion they come down. This is the answer. But if you understand about the soul, what we are here, how we are here, then it is intraceable. It is difficult for us to trace how we are here, whether we are here or whether we came down from there. It is impossible for us to ascertain. The best thing, how to get out of here. That is the best thing. Instead of breaking our head and trying to find faults that we came here, no, we did not come here, then we try to get inside different kinds of arguments. So best thing, just get out of this world. That is the best thing to do. And second question is astrologers. Astrology is called Jyotisha Shastra. So Jyotisha is a part of Vedanga. So Jyotish Shastra is mainly designed to fix a time for your yajna, to do different kinds of samskaras, to different kinds of yajna, to ascertain certain nakshatra and certain tithis. The Jyotish Shastra is propounded. Other than this, there is absolutely no place to tell about your future, about your past. But there are some rishis who gave different Jyotish Shastra to give you what to say, to give you some warnings about your future, that this in this period there may be some difficulties, so you please be careful. That much they can say, but they cannot give you. They cannot give you, like Prabhupada said. I can speak about your Jyotisha. What he said, next life you are going to take birth. Next life you are going to suffer. Next birth you are going to get old age. Next birth you are going to get disease if you don't surrender to Krishna. That much we can say. So we all can be a Jyotisha, but astrologers, they cannot say. They can never say this. And especially in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to get proper Jyotisha person who knows all these things according to Shah. And most of the literature are already lost, which speaks about Jyotish Shastra already lost. Even though you have, what else they can teach you? What else they can tell you? They can tell you there is a problem, but only Lord can save us from problem. So it is better to go to the Lord. When some neighbor is giving you problem, they can say, okay, this planet and this planet is going to give you trouble. What can you do? The neighbor is causing you problem. What can you do? You cannot go to neighbor and tell him, okay, please, help me. No, you should go to the police and tell him this person is doing some problem and control him. Similarly, by understanding that you are going to have problem, you don't go to the planet. You don't go to Navagraha and complain and pray to them, please help me. No, you go to the Supreme Lord. When you go to Supreme Lord, everyone will get trembled and all your problems will be solved. So that is our ultimate understanding. Okay, we have last question, Maragadavalli.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, as we discussed above in the chapters, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, more than these two, Bhakti Yoga can attain a spiritual life easily. To attain Krishna is also very easy. But in my experience, I feel Jnana Yoga is the best, because Bhakti Yoga, so every time we are chanting 16 rounds and offering, so these are the difficulties we feel when we go outside. Also prasadam only we have to eat, and we are facing problem also. Only prasadam is very difficult, and onion garlic should avoid. So these and all is very difficult to follow. Then reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, with the help of like your people, at least we can manage. But following is very difficult. These things and all. So how we can overcome these difficulties?
Okay. First of all, we should understand what is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means not understanding Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Hearing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, it's a part of Bhakti Yoga. It is Shravanam. It is not Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga, it is impossible for us to think. Jnana Yogis are Shukadeva Goswami, Jada Bharata. They are Jnana Yogi. They are Jnanis. Means for them, they forgot completely about the body, and they are going naked, and they don't consider about the outside world, and they're completely in the meditation in the concentration of jnana, in the concentration of atma. So they are called what do they say? What is the word? Atma something. They're completely in the meditation of atma. So it is not possible for us. And eating only prasadam and doing only this, if we cannot even do this much, then how we are going to attain that goal? Do you think Krishna is so cheap that we can attain him without any process? Even in this world, we should do some endeavor to attain anything. So if you want to attain Krishna, if you want to just get out of all this samsara, which is continuing you for millions and millions of lifetime, and it is going to continue for millions and millions of lifetime if you don't take up devotion service. So to some time, when you have a disease, What's the best thing? Thinking, I don't have a disease, I don't have a disease. Is it a solution? No. You follow the rules and regulations. Doctor gives you prescription. You do this, you don't do this. You take this medicine, you don't take this food. You follow the prescription. Then you will come out of disease. Not like there are some people who come and say, just think, you are this soul, you are not this body, and your disease will go away. This happens so many times. I am suffering here, and my grandfather, he comes and says, okay, just think, you are not this body. You see how much you are suffering, but actually this suffering doesn't belong to you. This belongs to you, your body. You are not suffering. We cannot think like that. It is impossible for us to think. But the best thing, the practical thing is take the medicine and follow some prescription for some time. You don't have to follow prescription for whole life. Just till you get out of your disease, you will follow this prescription. And then once if you get out of your disease, then you can eat. Similarly, this process, this Bhakti Yoga process, it is Susukam Kartam Avyam. It is very happily done. Chanting Krishna's name is very happy. Yes, it is very difficult in the beginning. It's like a jaundice person. When you have a jaundice, even if you eat sugar cane, even if you eat something sweet, it looks bitter. But what is a medicine? Just keep on drinking this sugar cane. Slowly, it will become a nectar for you. So Bhakti works as a both things. It works as a medicine. It works as a nectar. So in the beginning, it works as a medicine. It is very bitter. But once if you start doing continuously, then it becomes a nectar. And other than this, there is no other way. Jnana is a different process that you should understand. Jnana is not for us. And Krishna himself, he has declared that Jnana, it is not the process for any of us in this material world. Maybe this material life looks difficult. Maybe the spiritual life looks difficult, but material life is impossible to live. Maybe spiritual life is difficult, but it is possible. But material life is impossible for us to live. So anyway, just stay in devotion service, stay in devotees association. Then it becomes easier. That's what I said. When you are with devotees, it becomes easy. When you go outside, you can still eat fruits. There are many people who are working outside and who doesn't have anything to eat. They're also suffering. They also do so many kinds of tyaga, like people those who have settled down in Western countries. They don't have proper sambar to eat. They don't have proper rasam to eat. They don't have proper South Indian pongal, venpongal to eat. So they are also suffering there. It's not that they are living very happily. So people, they take so much tapasya just for money, staying outside. So for Krishna, why don't we take some tapasya, give up some food for 1 or 2 days and eat some fruits? And there is always, you can find devotees. Don't say there is no devotees. There are devotees everywhere. Wherever you go, there are devotees, and they will help you in getting prasadam. So just you need to develop some good friends with devotees. Then you will be happy. Okay, we end here and we'll see you tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.